Welcome, guys, to another YouTube daily cast. A bit late on that one, but we do have a good one. Kingdanzz and Surgeon against Pilferer and APM. Kingdanzz is trying to get his rank 1. He is now rank 2. This is his 2 is rank 1 game here. We will arrive a bit late though, but that is an interesting one to watch for sure. And we did have the full release date on the game, 1st of October. So this means that the Shadow Cup will be scheduled with fixed dates, and I'll update the post, the Steam post, anytime soon, probably later tonight for me. Sorry it was a bit late. I arrived late at home, and Wave 2 is upcoming, and Kingdanzz is going for the 2 pack rats here with the Bounty Hunter. Not receiving a 20 here means that he will be able to... Oh, wait, no. That was a bug. That was only one. And then a Steed. And Hyogen going for the Cat plus Serpent. A 6 worker star from Hyogen. That's a bold one, but that's against an Antler, so it's not the end of the world here. Not the best pushing build in the early game, the Enter that is. And APM going for the Fire Elemental, does have 5 workers already, will be able to defend wave 3 with an extra Aqua right over here, and he should be fine. And a little split, that's totally fine. Saiyan will send a Lizard to APM, Pilferer going very safe here with the Seraphim and the Polywog. You're kind of forced to do that as an Entler. Despite Kingdanzz being only at 2 workers, but he does go for the treasure hunt every time. This is a Steed. Sorry for the bug. That's just because I arrived late, so this will be confused by the engine, but it's totally fine. It is a spectator bug. Spectator is not fully implemented yet, so it's just fine for us to have a really nice game to cast. So Kingdanzz going to aim for that early Bounty Hunter into Kingpin, but he is still looking vulnerable on wave 6 and 7. So let's see how he will manage that. Saiyan keep pushing hard here at 7 workers already, whilst minus 75. And he's even pushing to 8 workers. That is... Yep. I don't know how to describe this except by yep. Because this is quite a bold push. He needs to income set quite a lot. Of course, if he wants to keep that up. But the build from APM is quite hard to leak in the early game. And so we'll see if he turns out feeding a little bit of APM here. So this should be a hold here from APM. The Dragon Turtle will be dragged away from the Fire Elemental for a long time. And it's looking pretty good, but let's look at the 100 cent here onto Kingdanzz. Did go for the treasure hunt, but the Imps are quite deadly here on wave 4. APM does leak to the income cent here. And Kingdanzz does leak as well, but this is to a bit of a lucky targeting, to be honest. But he does have the scaling potential of the Bounty Hunter. And he almost leaked as much as the Aqua player on wave 4, while Saya being pushing a bit more than the other one. So this turns out okay as a trade. Yes, they lose King HP, but it's not the end of the world. He does have 1 worker less than Pilferer, but does have the treasure on every single wave. If we look at what this translates to, pretty much equal worker Mythium gain from Pilferer. So yes, that is a bit annoying, but Kingdanzz is right now shifting gold, and that might be leading him to leaking here. And Saiyan going for the full cat instead of an Oathbreaker here. So that might bite him back. It is a brute to him. The brute will turn into the coil, but the cat will not be able to cover that. The shift here from Kingdanzz did come in. It did not treasure hunt here, so the pack rat does help for DPS. Everything on the quarter, so that's a bit unfortunate. But does the bounty hunter survive here? APM does leak again. Cyanogen does leak more. And we do have a hold for Kingdanzz? Yes, we do. Alright, so Kingdanzz holding this will not hold the middle, so extra king damage onto them. But still a leak on the other side. I think the net gain is of course on the side of Pilferer APM because of the king damage, but still a pretty even game because Cyanogen does leak with higher worker than APM had, but APM does leak a little bit less. So Kingdanzz does go for the kingpin here, I presume, or for the gate. Let's see, we go for the kingpin here, allows him to push and prepare another angler. He does need to be careful on next wave, 2 mass brutes, but looking at the Mythium from APM, it doesn't look like 2 brutes. Well, maybe it does 2 brutes, but should still be fine. I mean, Kingdanzz is heavily overvalued. That's what happened when you play Kingpin here. He will struggle a bit in workers right now. And now it's just a question of if Cyanogen can hold the pressure. And what is this? This is an after income dino. After seeing Kingdanzz shifting gold here on wave 5. So, I mean, I don't really agree with that because now Kingdanzz can just fully push, doesn't need to be afraid of anything on wave 7. But what is this? This is a leak also in APM here, pushing too much with the Aqua, overestimating our power on wave 6. Cyanogen does leak here, but Kingdanzz will easily cover in the middle. So this is a huge mistake when you see people shifting on Kingpins, on Bounty Hunter, sorry, on wave 5. You don't want to go on wave 6, you want to go on wave 7. They later push, make them overbuild one more wave. This is more time for you to gain extra Mythium, extra income, and then if they decide to push, they will leak to 3 brutes or 2 brutes. So this is something to keep in mind here. When you see someone shifting for the Kingpin on wave 5, you do not want to go wave 6. But Cyanogen has 2 strong waves next. He needs to focus on wave 9. Kingdanzz is pretty strong on wave 9 with the Kingpin. We'll probably have a Bounty Hunter next wave to stack it up a bit more. They also have King ups, so this is extra push. And Brute here into Cyanogen, extra push as well. And now they are in a commanding position. So they did receive the sense here. They know Cyanogen is weaker on wave 9. So them matching the opponent on wave 9 could be good for them because they have a Kingpin player. So the hard push is coming. I do expect Kingdanzz pushing 2 more workers. Let's see if this is through. Kingdanzz does decide to go for income here. But this is indeed 2 more workers, the treasure hunt as well. And yes, the angler will be overstacked here on wave 8. But still not the end of the world. You still have the decent push here using the power of the Kingpin early game. And you will be fine. We do have Pilferer and APM. Just Pilferer sending us now to get a threshold here, which was the LD. And yeah, so Pilferer will be able to hold that. This is just income king up from Kingdanzz. Pilferer should be able to push. But looking at his build, he needs to be careful because he's still weak on wave 9. So what is the decision of King and Saya here? Do they decide to go for a common wave sand or do they decide to go for an asynchronous sand? So the imps are coming onto Kingdanzz here. Not the best choice of sand. Kingdanzz does not get the gate here. So he cannot get the Bounty Hunter plus Mudman either. So, I mean, this is alright, but then what do you get? that is a question because you don't have much more. Okay, so decide to go for an extra angler to tank, this to adjust the split, and another steed to stack a bit faster the angler and the bounty hunter. So the imps are not the best send, as I said. I mean, the kingpin is pretty strong against those imps. It does not get reduced attack speed, so they will be sniped quite fast. You do lose some stacks here from the bounty hunter, but in the long run, it's not the end of the world for you. Looking at the other lane that received big, that is APM. Mole Hermit, pretty strong at what he had. The surprise gate was not enough. So you will see a big leak from APM. This will be a ult on Kingdanzz side, and you see him pushing. He is strong on 10. Does not need to be afraid of any big send. So strong on 10, strong on 11, because he will get a second kingpin there, and then strong on 12 because of the two kingpins. So he does not have a weak wave to speak of before wave 13, but he does have the gate for wave 13 answer. And he do decide to go for 10 here. More income, more scaling for Kingdanzz, more scaling for Cyajin. And that's just the power of Kingpin here. You want to exploit that mid game to get yourself an increased income lead, or to kill the opponent on wave 12. If you are not confident on breaking your opponent on wave 12, you go for the scaling approach. So king up, income king up share should come from Kingdanzz and Saya, or full income. Let's see what they decide to do. And they might do it again on wave 11, but I do think they will go for potentially wave 12 with investment. So they go full here. So full Sen here coming on wave 10. Kingdanzz overvalued here, despite being 16 workers. He is feeling good about this game right now. The dinos are not that bad. The only problem is that it's against LODs, which are doing bonus damage against them. So that's the best Sun, I do presume. But does delete the Daphnes, and that's the goal of them. And this will indeed be a leak on Pilferer. We do see also a leak coming up from APM, and so this will be a lot of king damage. So a lot of king damage, lots of gold going on the side of Kingdanzz and Cyajin. They have the work ability as well, but Pilferer sending a siege ram here on wave 11. Cyajin is close to value, and this is gold to them. They could go for Savior if they feel the pressure. And Kingdanzz is surely not receiving a lot here, so possibly going for investment. But Cyajin should go for Savior here, I believe. So investment on Kingdanzz and Savior on Cyajin should be the play. Embargo on Kingdanzz is really not afraid at all. And embargo on Cyajin. They just say, you know what, Kingdanzz is super far ahead, he got this. We don't need to be no afraid of anything. He's overvalued, yeah. Totally understandable for him. Then go for Golem, harden the Golem. Don't risk it for Saya. Saya has been saved for quite a long time. I mean, he still has a white main LD, so shouldn't be the end of the world if he doesn't harden. I mean, you get a Kingpin next, so if you get a Kingpin next, and you've hardened this is totally fine. Yeah, decide to not harden the hit. So let's see how Saijin do against this 420 cent. But if he holds, which with the value he has, will not be surprising that he holds. But the quarter getting sniped is not the best situation for him. And the Ram's still alive, just absorbing all the damage from this LOD. That's what he was looking for. So despite being close to value, this should be a pretty decent league on Cyajin, but a hold from Kingdanzz. And Kingdanzz is not slacking on the workers. He has embargo, but he's deciding to go 20 workers and still counting. And that's gonna be 21. APM leaking to the income send here. Not looking good after the embargo, that's for sure. And so this would result into king damage, but they do have the large pressure lead here with the embargo. So a bit unfortunate from Cyajin to not hold here, but that's just because he didn't have Well, he didn't have much for that wave. Yes, he has the LTD, but what's the front line? Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? It's more a question of what's the front line, because the states are just dying so fast, and so there you cannot have a lot of dragons coming out. Saiyajin's taking to the 14 workers. Kingdanzz is probably sticking to the 21. What? He's going for the full treasure hunt? I mean, that's not a bad play, but he's just trolling with me or what? He's just he's just showing off the APM here. Did a mistake here. That's better. Yes, keep it up, Kingdanzz. You can do it. Let's go. Yep, keep that up. Ah, he just did one mistake, so we're gonna give him a good note. Like, let's say it's A instead of A plus here, just because of that one little mistake. APM got slacked a little bit here. Yeah, still very fine. So let's see here. I mean, 13 is just the death of APM Pilferer here. A lot of pierce damage on APM. Yes, he has the gate, doesn't have the white main, doesn't have the. He just doesn't have his core synergy yet. And he did push quite a lot, so they need to match them on 13 despite not having embargo. And Kingdanzz will probably have his. No, he doesn't have enough for the upgraded gate, but we'll go for 2 small gates, it looks like. Or Kingpin plus 1 gate. No, does not have. He doesn't have enough. Yeah. So what will it be? Okay, another seed to stack up the extra Kingpin. I mean, this is still a lot of damage to the wave 13. Ghost Knight. Wait, no, wait. What is it? Ogre. I mean, Ogre is in the split with that, so this means that everything will tank before it. Yes, Kingdanzz is overvalued, but I would still harden because he doesn't have any good tanks for that wave, nor does he have enough good damage. But let's see if the Kingpins are enough here to hold him. So we'll stick here on that side because the sends are bigger. I'm gonna remove that for the viewers. And it looks like, yeah, this is way too much. Even if you have the upgraded gates, you still have no buff on it. And so this means it will result into a big leak. Also, the Ogre, yes, snipe, but he leaks the whole wave except one golem. And the gate doesn't do too bad here, to be honest, but still not enough to hold. And this is a Shaman to the King with one, that is 7? 8? 8 golems. So Kingdanzz does leak here, despite being overvalued because he didn't have any swift tanks, nor did he have any magic damage or things like that. So not surprised by the outcome of that, but still, the leak doesn't mean much because this is game for Kingdanzz and Saiyajin, and this is rank 1 for Kingdanzz. I mean, good controlled game, that's for sure. Still, early game was punished by APM, but the long save to wave 4 did mean he was in trouble, especially since the imps were after income. And then, yes, this was income, but then you do Dino after income to try and punish Kingdanzz. And that's just the doorway to open. You just can still punish the Kingpin on wave 7 with double brute. But yeah, I mean, APM just pushed a bit too much after the wave 5 leak, not realizing he was too weak on wave 6 to do anything. The Aqua probably dying quite fast here, so that wasn't the best. And double fire elemental often not the best choice. Better to go for Rogue Wave Fire Elemental combination because Rogue Wave is just better DPS on wave 7 and 8. And yeah, in the King of you just relieve all the pressure on Kingdanzz and say, yeah, push the workers, I don't care. And then you just kill yourself no matter what. And you also kill your ally because you allow the Kingpin to snowball out of control. But I mean, this is why it is so frustrating to play against an early Kingpin. It's very hard to spot those wave where you can leak, but it is important to spot them because if you do not punish the Kingpin with some impressive sends or some leaks from him, then he will snowball out of control and kill your ally no matter what. So that is why it is tricky to play against it. But if you control the Kingpin player, then you have a chance to protect your ally. Saiyajin was already leaking a little bit too much here, because you did invest a lot into cats. So if you just decide to go 6, play it safe, you skip 7, you skip 8, you go full 9, you have a chance to get back at Saijin and punish him for pushing that much. And, and I mean, Pilferer is not able to do that because Kingdanzz was running out with the game. So that's where the teamwork aspect of the game kind of pull up in importance, but still, uh, let's not discredit how well Kingdanzz and Saijin played here. Uh, Playing to their outs here, Kingdanzz knowing when he was strong, when he could push those extra workers, playing safe when he could not. The King ups here on 7 just allowed him to push so hard because he knew that he couldn't get much on wave 9, which was his next weakest wave. And even then, he's not that weak on Kingpins, but still, this is the next wave he's possible to leak on. Even 8, like, he needs something to tank for the Kingpin partially to allow the Kingpin to kill the wave. So those small details were relieved by the wave 7 sent from APM. So knowing when to relieve pressure and knowing when to put some on your opponent, that's one of the crucial aspects of the game. So on that, hope you liked it, and see you next time, guys.